The objective today is to analyze the relationship of an internet technology to the impact. So we're analyzing this relationship, and essentially today is the end of Unit 1, and what we're doing is just doing a practice for the performance task on the AP exam. So basically there are positive impacts and negative impacts. One right here might be an example of a negative. Just looking at this picture, the app is called Rumbler. You see a picture of a young man, and you have two options. You could fight or pass, and essentially what happens after you click fight, you can message this person directly. They are rated on a star system. When you message them directly, you can set up the protocols. Okay, not the protocols, but you can set up the parameters for a fight. The when, the where, even the why. The reasons why are usually ridiculous, usually personal attacks just simply based on the picture, but perfect example of a negative impact. The internet and computers, they bring many positive things to our world too. Teach Your Monster to Read is probably my favorite example. I use this to teach my young children to read at home, and a lot of elementary schools are using it. It's just a great program, and without the internet, without computers, we wouldn't have this very positive effect of teaching young humans at such an early age how to read. Okay, and then there's examples of both. Reddit would be the quintessential both good and bad of the internet. You can find them there. It says here the internet and technologies built upon it have been immensely impactful in society. They have allowed people from across the world to communicate and collaborate at the speed of light. You've learned about the physical nature of networks, that is, internet protocols, routing, packets, scaling, redundancy, reliability, DNS, and HTTP. Now you'll get a chance to investigate how these technologies have connections to the social impacts of the internet. Think, rate, share. Overall, what would you say, has the internet created a positive or negative impact? So for today, you will research an area of focus under one of three major topics. We have net neutrality, internet censorship, and network surveillance. If you're in my web design, don't choose internet censorship because we just finished an entire unit on it. This lesson is a central practice for the Explorer performance task later on in the school year. We have been and will continue to do our Flash Talk Fridays, but today we're getting a little more focused on topics that will appeal to the College Board. That's why it's a practice performance task today. The act of doing rapid research is one that will come up over and over again in this course. In the words of Code.org, who created the curriculum approved by the College Board, in the case of this lesson, we want students to read articles on the issues but scan for the terms and vocabulary they know, like IP, DNS, HTTP, routing, packets, scaling, redundancy, reliability, etc. We want students to be able to explain with some level of technical proficiency how these things work, as well as the potential beneficial and harmful effects. So, net neutrality and internet censorship are related issues having to do with the organizations attempting to control the internet traffic for a variety of reasons. There are many other large societal issues and dilemmas related to the internet besides these, that like big data, surveillance security, and encryption. 300 words is the maximum word length of a typical reflection prompt on the Explorer performance task. So as you do your work today, let's try to limit ourselves to 300 words, even though we all know Mr. Houghton loves quantity, especially in terms of words. Writing is a reflection of thinking, and I figure if you're thinking a lot of words, thinking a lot of thoughts, that's a good thing. But today, let's limit ourselves to 300 words. The Explore PT is also an individual task for students. Students do need some practice doing these on their own. Skills needed: research on a topic related to computing, connecting computing to socially relevant issues, explaining the technical details necessary for understanding the issues at play, and writing short, concise text that explains a complicated issue and associative technology. So it says the DOL, in 300 words or less, explain the issue and the technology involved. So you're choosing from one of these three right now. 300 words or less, explain how one of these three have an impact.